Hello, my name is Johnny Monk, and this is my base career insight interview for cabin crew, which I've done now for almost 3 years, and I'm super grateful to be doing a job like this. It is one like no other, so I'm very happy to be answering some of these incredible questions. Since I was a very young boy at the age of 4, going on to my first long-haul flight over to the Philippines, it was just to be on the flight, to be on the plane, sat there, taking off, landing, the whole experience of aviation I've just loved. And admiring the cabin crew, the way they dressed and how they just operated around the flight, how they were laughing with each other. It just seemed like such an experience. And I remember from such a young age, I think to be part of that would have just been a dream come true. Because you always see things and you wish, I want to do that, that looks so fun, that looks so cool. And I think that's what inspired me to do it. And of course, every young boy's dream is to be a pilot, or young girl. So when I was that young, I always wanted to be a pilot, but then I found out it does cost at least half a kidney to get yourself onto the pilot seat. So cabin crew was the next best option, but from my kind of personality as an outgoing person, it really suited doing cabin crew. So a typical day in my job consists of, I wake up before the day's even begun. I'm asleep, I wake up around 2 hours before check-in time. So if check-in's at 5 in the morning, I would wake up at 3, get ready for about an hour, and then make my way over to the airport, which is could be about an hour drive. Always to be aware of traffic and that kind of thing. Getting to the airport, we have a nice check-in briefing, around 20 minutes that lasts. We're in the crew room, we go through the flight data, passengers, special requests, safety. Then we make our way over to the aircraft, we do our security checks. So this is about 40 minutes, we call it green light boarding, so 35 minutes before passengers board the aircraft. We do a security check, make sure it's all okay, we don't find anything, everything's nice and clear, and then we check catering carts, that kind of thing. Then the passengers come on, we welcome them on board, we get them all seated, we then shut the doors, get to the runway, take off, then we do our bar service, a retail service, and clearing, and then we do have, after all that's done, we then have our own meals. Sit down, have a nice chinwag, and just get to know our colleagues better. It's amazing because every single day, you're working with completely different people, and the base could have at least 80 cabin crew there. So there's a lot of changes in terms of people you're working with every day. And sometimes you get the annoying ones, and sometimes you get the great ones. It's always the luck of the draw. But because there's a crew of 4 on a 737 type aircraft. That's okay, because then you can always talk to someone. Hopefully there's at least one person you'd like. So it's really chatty, because I think everyone in cabin crew is always quite outgoing, friendly, wanting to have a good day. And it's a really nice spirit, because what we do in our job is just so, I don't know, taking off into the skies. Who else gets to work in the skies? Then when we come back, we go down, so for example, we land into Faro, we're there for about an hour, we get people off, the cleaners come on, they clean the aircraft, and then we do the whole thing again. We do our checks, make sure nothing's been left on or left behind, and then we get new passengers come back on, and it's not true that we get to stay there and have a day in the sun. Those were probably the 80s, the 90s, whatever, but sadly in short haul flying, you do have to come straight back. So we have about an hour turnaround time. We do all the same on the way back, and then so we land around 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, hopefully with no delays, and then we go home. And because you wake up so early, you end up going to bed a lot earlier, which is really weird and fatiguing, if that's a word. The best day of work so far, I've got so many best days of work. So the best day at work I've ever had, I recently changed to Bristol base, and I've got new colleagues there. I don't really know them. But one of the best memories I think I have is when we went over to, I think it was Corfu in Greece, and I've never met these people. So you get to know them throughout the day, check in, start talking, throughout the flight, you get to know them well. And I got to know them so well that with one of them, we had a picture outside on the steps, and he picked me up like a baby, and we just had a great time. And it just showed a good indicator of our relationship on that day, and how it was so kind of unique and special. I'll forever remember that moment, because it was such a great day. The best piece of advice I've ever received in cabin crew is be a leader and not a follower. Sometimes people who have been in the industry for a long time, they'll tell you what to do as a newbie, but also I think there's a lot of people that, new people especially, that bring a lot to the table, and in terms of ways of working, because I think cabin crew is always advancing into what's changing, the methods of working in that sort of role. So be a leader and not a follower. Of course, always follow your cabin manager because they have the most experience, but also don't have bad habits, because then it reflects on future flights and then you won't become such a liked crew member in that way. But yeah, always be a leader and follow the rules, because they're there for a reason. All procedures and all norms and safety, it is all under that. Talking about my career to date, I was 18 years old and I started in 2018. I left home, I worked for a company called jet2.com. I was cabin crew there for around 10 months and it was incredible. I then moved over to another company called TUI, and I've been with this company for another 2 years, and I'll be starting my summer season next April as I've got my roster. In 2020, I moved over to Bristol, so now I'm Bristol based, and I also live in London now, which is crazy. I'm gonna have to commute quite a lot now, but in Bristol based, they do fly long haul to Mexico and Miami, so I'm hoping that those are on the cards this year. And the last one I'd like to give you is steps into getting into this role is you book online assessments, interviews, go to assessment days, ask for feedback, talk to cabin crew when you're on flights, try and get as much information as possible, work in retail, work in customer facing industries, try and get 6 months at least, that's what they ask for minimum. There is a height restriction as well, so 5'2" above, which is a bit annoying, but yes, it's more of a safety related thing. Be well dressed, because you will be in uniform if you do get the job. So that's really important. Do be well dressed, and if you don't get it, don't take it personally. If you don't get the job at the end of the day, there will be people that do get it and people that don't. It's a very hard process. Don't take it personally. Ask for feedback if you can, if they offer it, and keep going, because there's so many airlines out there. The opportunities are endless, and travel is going to come back harder and faster than ever. Just be confident and bold about it. Go into the interview, try and give as much as you can. It's all on personality and what you can offer to the company in that sense. They don't just want crew on flights, they do want personalities and people with a passion and a heart to give either great customer service, maintaining good levels of safety, and just to make a company a great company by recruiting the right people. So thank you so much. I've been Johnny Monk. I've been cabin crew for TUI Airways for the last 3 years, and I wish you all the best in your career.